Hello and welcome back. In this video, we will discuss embedding links. If you see here, we can add links here in the response itself. First, let's see how these links are prepared. If you go to the post controller in the WP includes folder and navigate to the REST API folder, go to the endpoints, and here you will find the post controller. Since our REST base is the film, this get item will be executed as a callback function. If you click on and go through the getItems function, you will see that this function prepares all the REST responses for the list of movies. If you scroll further down, you will see that they prepare item for response, which fetches all the items. They execute a WP query and loop through the results and then prepare the items for response. If you go through this, they are simply checking which arguments we need to pass. If you scroll further down, you will see prepare links. Here it checks whether the links or embedded is present or not. If they are present, we already have a response, and the WP REST response object passes the post ID object to the links. In the prepared link, you will see the link self, collection, and about. Similarly, for the author, we have links for author, replies, version history, and more. So, how can we add these links? If you go back again, they call the add links method of the WP REST response. If you look here, you will see that this is the WP REST response class, and this is the add links method, which adds all the links. They also call the add link singular method to add individual links. So, how can we do this? If you go to the controller, since this is the default controller, we cannot modify this core controller class directly. We need some additional code. If you scroll down, you will find apply filters function. You can see the REST prepare post type filter, and it will be called for a given post type. Here we can have our movie post type. So we can add a filter to REST prepare movie, and we will receive the response object, post object, and the request object. Similarly, what I've done is create another callback function called MLB REST prepare movie, where I'm getting the response object, post object, and the request object. I'm using the add filter function over here. Now in this function, I'm checking whether the actor's meta information exists in the data or not. We should only add a link if the actor's meta key exists and the data is available. Since we have already registered the meta, the default controller, that is the post controller, will fetch the meta information from the post meta table and it will be added to the response. So instead of calling the get post meta function directly, we can get it from the existing response. So I just retrieve the data and check whether the meta key exists or not. If it's not added, I simply return the response because we don't want to add the information. If it is an array, I will loop through and use person post ID as it represents the ID of the person post type. Then I'm adding a link. When using the add link function, it requires a relative link relation, either an IANA registered type or absolute URL. So what does that mean? If you look into the link section of the REST API info handbook, you can see the registered link relation from the IANA. These are specifications for link relations such as self, author, collection, and about. These link relations are available by default. For example, you can see author, about, collection, and self, and others in the response. However, some relations like attachment are not available by default, including the featured media link. These are custom relation links or compact URIs. Regarding compact URIs, you can register them using a filter in the REST response link, like with custom or compact URIs. By adding this link, it will be registered with your plugin as a custom link. You can learn more about this in the documentation. In our case, we are adding a custom post type links, such as adding the person post type REST routes into the links, which are already available. We can use the default ones. For example, I am using https api.w.org and then I am providing the post type. This will be replaced with WP post type in the link. Next, for the links href, we need to provide the URL. I generate the URL using the REST get route for post function. This just requires the post ID. This function will fetch the ID or the WP post object and prepare the REST route. We don't have to manually add /wp/v2/person or anything like that. WordPress already provides helper functions that we can use. I am using that function here, which only returns the route, not the full URL. Then we can pass the route to the REST URL function, which will generate the full REST URL. Again, it will call the get REST URL and append it to the WP JSON or whatever the REST URL prefix is there. This way, we can get a REST URL. Now we have provided the REST URL and added additional attributes if needed. These are additional attributes for the REST response. For example, I added embeddable equals to true and post type. You might remember that we can add something like embed, which provides all the information about the media URL, taxonomy URL, or similar data. We want to make the links embeddable, meaning whenever the embed parameter is passed, the links will also include embeddable values. I am also passing the post type to identify the post type of this REST route for easy identification. Now, if you go here under the meta actors and links, you can see the WP post type. It shows the post type as person, marked embeddable as true, along with the URLs. We have added the links, and using these links in the front end, we can easily call the REST API routes to fetch the actor or person post relation. If you add embed and send it, you will notice under the embedded section that the author and other terms REST routes are included with all the information. Embedding extends all the links and responds with all the data from the REST route link under the link property. Now you can see WP post type, an array with all information like date, slug, type, link, title, excerpt, and their links. To streamline this, for instance, if we only need specific data like the title and a few other fields, we can use the fields argument. If you recall from the first video, the fields argument lets us fetch specific data such as title, link, and type. I have added this query wires to the person post REST route. Now, when you send it again and look the WP post type, you will see only the type, link, and title. It is important to note that WordPress doesn't make additional requests from the front end. Instead, it returns this data from the server itself. In the REST API, you can also make another REST request via PHP itself, which I'll demonstrate later. This method allows us to add links and fetch all the required information into the front end. This eliminates the need to make additional REST API calls for simple details like the actor's name, link, and title. So, this is all about embedding links. Thanks for watching and see you in the next one. Jai WordPress!